Good morning, Colorado. Hey, it's Jonathan Lampros here, aka the One Eye Car Guy. I'm coming at you on my way to work. It's about 6 in the morning. Headed in to Littleton, Colorado from Monument. I'm about an hour away, so normally during this time I'm listening to my books, something motivational. I love my man Andy Elliott, Tony Robbins, Ed Mylett, Brad Lee, Wes Watson. Just found him yesterday. Loving the things he's saying. So yeah, usually that's what I'm doing about this time. But today I thought, as I hear all these guys talking about making videos and basically just putting yourself out there and giving the world a little bit of a taste of the things that you know and that you've experienced, and maybe in somehow, some way able to help people out. And if nothing else, we just started a new dealership. This is, I believe, my 6th dealership that I've started from, with the lack of better words, flat on its ass. We purchased it from Doug Moreland, Brandon Dodge back on December 8th. AutoNation bought it, and I was brought in to turn the dealership around. We did 30 cars the first month. We did 60 cars the second month. We're on pace to do about 125 cars this month. So we're definitely seeing some pretty rapid improvement. Unfortunately, when you improve that fast, it's usually because the place is that messed up, not because you're that good. So to prove we're that good, it was going to take a little bit more time. But it's definitely nice to see, and it's a lot of fun whenever you can take something from nothing to something. These are the times. I think Steve Jobs said it. He always said that when they were building the Apple, the Mac, iPod, any of the different things that they were producing, in the grind and the hard work and the effort and the long hours, the nights missed, the weekends, the holidays missed. Those were the times that you remember. And again, through my experience of doing this a few times, I think that is 100% the truth. I don't, despite being up in Greeley, and we built that into quite a little powerhouse, that dealership up there, John Elway Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram years back, started from nothing that didn't exist, and we took it to selling 300 cars a month. However, when it was doing that 275 to 300 a month, it wasn't fun. That was like probably the least fun time, even though it was the most profitable. It was building the dealership. It was the first time we sold 50, and the first time we sold 80, then 100, then 120, and then 150, and then 170, and 200, and 250, and 300. Those were the fun times, and then we got it up and maintaining. And just going to be honest, even though money was nice and it was nice to have some prosperity, it sure was a lot funner when we were building that dealership. So I get that opportunity again here with AutoNation Dodge Ram on Broadway. We're building up this new store, and I thought I would just give you a little how can do when building a dealership, in hopes of that this one turns out. So on a regular basis, just creating a vlog of what we're doing, what's going on. One of the things as I think about this that I've been really successful at in my career when building dealerships is building a great team. And I know it almost sounds cliche. You hear people say it all the time, and I really do believe they say it, and you hear it so often from successful people because how true it really is. But when we talk about building a team, it really is critical and important, not difficult, right? It's not rocket science, but it's anything but easy. And what I mean by that is when you are building a team, the biggest problem in building a team is yourself. Flat out. If you're the leader, you got there for a reason. You were given this job for a reason. Typically because you're skilled and talented. I know in the car business, we all started from the bottom. There's not anybody that I've ever met, unless their father owned a dealership. We call that a PhD. Papa had a dealership, that you walked into a management or general manager role or any of sort. The rest of us all worked from the very bottom, starting as a lot tech, salesman, detailer, something of that nature, and then worked our way up the chain. So we understand the hard work, the effort, the energy, and everything that it takes to be successful in this business. And so when you are put into a position of power, basically ultimate power. It's kind of like a dictatorship, dealerships, or as most businesses work. It's very easy to think that you're the reason and put your ego and yourself in the way. And ego a lot of times is a lack of confidence. And when you get in a position of power and you surround yourself with good people, it's easy to lose that confidence because you're looking at people that, if you've done it right, are better than you in a lot of cases. So what happens is we start coming down on these people. We start being hard on them. We have negative attitudes toward them. We have negative attitudes towards the things we do. We don't recognize them. We don't compliment them. We create an environment that nobody wants to work in. Right? All because we can't get out of our own darn way. Now, that's typically what happens, and usually why somebody who you would look at and say is really good isn't able to perform at that next ultra high level. In a lot of cases, you'll see entrepreneurs start businesses, and then once that business is up and going, where the yelling and the screaming and the MFing isn't accepted anymore because the business isn't building, it's successful, it's off, it's running. So therefore, tolerating the CEO's outlying behavior becomes no longer acceptable, and it becomes a place that people don't want to work, and they quit, and the company fails. Or in a lot of cases, they'll get the person who originally started, the founder of the company, they'll get them started it, they'll get it up and running, and then they turn it over and hire out to a new CEO because that person has a better understanding. They can check their ego, they can get out of their own way. So when I say building a team, it is a very time-consuming, mentally and difficult process, but it is by far the most critical thing. Because what you want is people in positions, like I said earlier, better than you are. You need to be the very best at controlling the atmosphere, at controlling the culture, the environment, the attitude, the inventory, the advertising. What I would call the GM's job is to cover everything that people cannot see. right? They get to cover everything that you can see, all the customer-facing relations. They get all the glory of selling the cars or selling the service, working on the vehicles, whatnot, closing deals, and then it's your job as the leader to come behind and do all the things that are not seen, right? And to do them again in such a way. I don't know who told me this at one time, but I'll always remember it. That you need to do your job in a way that everybody looks at you and says, "Man, that job is so easy. I want it." meaning they have no idea how hard it is because you make it look so damn easy. And that, to me, I think that's a big deal, and that's something that I've always strived to do. People don't see the stress on my face, they don't see the frustration, they don't see the pressure. What they see is a guy having a good time all day long doing his job. So when I say control that environment, I mean you have to control the environment. You have to make it a place where everybody wants to show up and go to work every day. If you can't get that, if you can't create a place where your lot tech to your business office, your managers, your salespeople, your technicians, you know, every single person there has got to be looking forward to showing up every day. So you ask yourself, well, how do you create that environment? Well, the first and foremost thing is like we're talking about right now, man. I've been up since 3:40 this morning. I typically wake up around 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not leaving to work till about 6, so that gives me about 2 hours to get my head right, and just before I even walk out of the door. So getting my head right is critical to getting my team's head right, right? I don't ever want to walk through the dealership store and me to have a bad attitude over anything, really. I'm not saying that I'm walking around like Pollyanna, with sunshine and roses. I'm not singing or whistling Winn Dixie all day. I don't believe in just this positive mental attitude. I believe in a constructive, realistic positive attitude based in what's happening right here, right now. But negativity just doesn't have a place for any of us, and it sure hell doesn't have a place in a sales environment. So if you're in a sales environment, if you're in a dealership, if you're in any kind of environment, if you're a leader and you're trying to build something, take the time to get your head right so you can keep your people's head right, or you can get their head back into the right place. So first and foremost, my attitude's always straight. Then I can go to my people and say, hey, why do you have a bad attitude? What's wrong with you, man? Right? We don't want any poopy pants, right? We don't want anybody pooping at the party, man. Do I need to go get you a diaper, right? Because you're here and you're pooping all over my party, and I'm not going to let you make a mess. So you got one or two decisions: you stop pooping on the party, or you get out, right? And people have that decision. No cancer, no negative attitude. But I'm allowed to ask that of people because that's what I exhibit. If I come to work pissed off and a bad attitude, throwing my little bitchy attitude around all the time, then guess what? I can't expect any different than anybody else, right? So the first thing is I put into place my attitude, make it a fun environment in order for somebody to work in, right? Then second, I lay forth the expectation. Hey, it's expected to come to work with the right attitude. I don't pay you for a negative attitude. I don't pay to take your shit. I'm not your spouse. I don't get to, all the fun-filled things to go on vacation and everything else with you that, allows me to deal with all the crap that you put up. No, I just get to deal with you probably more than I get to be with my family, and I pay you for it, so I expect to have a good positive attitude, right? So first, my attitude; second, an expectation of their attitude; and then third, play, have fun, laugh, joke, kid around. Don't take yourself so damn serious, right? You know what I mean? I've heard multiple things in order to help you with frustration and anxiety and stress and fear and all these things, but one of my favorites is in 10 days will it matter? And I don't know why the number's 10, but in all reality, there's not too many things that I can think of that happened 10 days ago, maybe 2, that are still an issue today. And it's probably only 1, right? And then if it is, that's a pretty big one. You probably should have handled it 10 days ago, right? Other than that, the reality is the frustration, the anxiety, the anxiousness, the stress, all these things that we put ourselves under are basically useless because we don't need to carry them, right? If it's not going to bother us in 10 days, it doesn't need to bother me today, right? And if it's going to bother me in 10 days, I need to solve it today, right? If I can fix it, fix it. If I can't, don't worry about it, right? That is just something that's got to be stuck into my head every single day. So people don't see stress on my face. They do see the eye patch. I can't get around that, so sorry. But they don't see the stress on my face. They don't see anxiety. They don't see frustration. Frustration is like a rocking chair. You move, you got movement all day long. You just don't get anywhere, right? It's the most useful emotion there is. Let's just be honest, it's a time waster, right? You can do certain things that frustrate you or somebody frustrates you, and the real impact of frustration is the time that thought or idea stays in your brain and occupies space and goes to work demotivating you. That's when it's doing its damage. So when you think about it, frustration just has no place in my day whatsoever. And if it does, if I do find myself there, then I have tactics and techniques. Breathe, slow down, never respond, take a walk, go to the bank, get my truck and drive off somewhere for a second. Whatever it might be, just give me a minute, right? And let's figure this thing out and let's go through it and handle it the right way. Because like I said, if I blow up at somebody, man, geez, dude, how many years did I spend thinking that my anger was some form of power instead of realizing that it was my weakness? My anger, going off on somebody and yelling and screaming at him. And yeah, sure, I felt powerful at the moment. Yeah, sure, that is an addicting feeling. That's a rush you get from that. Anybody tells you don't is lying to you. That's why we do it, is because we get off on it. So, I had to grow up. I had to realize that, other people are humans, that I am myself and no better than them, and nobody deserves to be treated that way. Don't get me wrong. There are expectations, and we'll hold people accountable 100% of the time, but you don't have to be an asshole to do it. You can be firm, to the point, direct, especially when you've set out clear expectations, but you don't have to be an asshole. So the years that I spent yelling and screaming and MFing people, the worst thing about it is it didn't take very long before that adrenaline wore off, and next thing you know, guess what? I'm feeling horrible about it, and that doesn't leave my brain. And it's almost like the bad karma that I spewed out comes back at me by robbing my time, my energy away from me, and deservingly so. So in all rightfulness, I'm trying to make sure that I don't do things like that, so I don't cost myself, right? So I can create the culture environment, I can create the energy, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the E-squared, baby, the things that you need to make sure that any sales environment, let alone a dealership, man, it could just be an office that we're processing, title documents all day long for a real estate company. I don't care. Wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, that attitude, that environment, that intensity, that passion for what you do starts with the person at the top. And you've got to realize it dissipates, or I guess it translates to about 40%, all right? So if I come at you at my 100%, the best I can hope it translating to you is 40% of my 100%, right? So let's start taking that number and start saying, hey, right, I take 80%, right? Well, now it's become 32%. You know what I'm saying? Like, I easily, as my passion, my desire starts to wear off, and I can't bring it how I need to, then I have to expect that that's going to dissipate in my employees and those who look to me to lead. So again, create the environment, guys. You've got to create that environment, and I do believe that's one of my stronger skills. It didn't used to be. I've worked really hard on it. I've read tons and tons of books. I've studied my ass off on it. I've worked within my home. I've worked within, I have a wife of since we're 16 years old. I can't say that I'm as good as her with her, and I get frustrated. Man, that woman knows how to hit, that one button that sends it, me into nuclear meltdown. Nobody at work has ever figured that out. No customer, thank goodness, has ever figured that out yet. But my wife, boy, did she know. I guess after 30 years, she get pretty good at that stuff. But my wife, my 5 children, that's definitely a place that you're able to apply this in. Those of you come in contact with the church and your friend groups, wherever you're at, right? You should be dictating the environment. The environment should never dictate you. When you show up, people go, oh yeah, good, he's here. Right? Because you bring something with you. And like I said, it doesn't have to be, hey folks, how's everybody doing? So happy to see you. Everything's great, wonderful. Not that bullshit. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is coming correct, man. Coming direct, right? Realizing bullshit's bullshit and just leaving it at that, right? Drama's drama and not having to get involved in it, Every time you get upset and blow up about something, you get frustrated about something, I'm sorry, man. That's drama. That's the same thing as any one of my teenage daughters coming home, throwing fits about what's going on in their little inner circle of girls. Boy, you want to talk about drama? Wow. You get some junior high girls, oh my goodness, there's drama. Anyway, sidetrack. I hope everybody has a great day. Man, that was 17 minutes of me ranting, telling you how to build a team. If nothing else, I put this on file for myself because I want to hear my damn self talk. So hopefully I make it out into the world. Some people hear this, use this, and let me know if it works. If not, have a great day, man. I'm Jonathan Lampros, aka the One Eye Car Guy. I'm out.